Very dangerous. Anyway, it says here, introduce the speaker and the topic of the workshop. And that's, the topic of the workshop is an old-timers meeting. What that means exactly, I don't know, except for you got two old people sitting up here.
Over 50?
Yes, over 50.
I've been called worse, so, you know.
Thank you, John. Okay, you know, as everyone was reading, John and I were kind of discussing what the hell we're going to do here, and we still don't know. But we have a beginning, so that's all we need is a beginning, and then God is just going to take it wherever it's going to go. And the beginning is John.
I'm an addict named John. we were just talking about people that are in the room here that, you know, were here. There's 4 people here that were here before me and Leah. We basically came in around the same time, and.
By the way, this month is John's 20th anniversary. All right.
So we thought we'd ask a few people just to stand up for a minute, so we could just show something here, like Rosalie, and Bob, and Joan, and Tommy, and these 4 guys were all here when me and Leah got here, and. What, there's 20, 40, 60, 80, about almost 100 years right there.
Between the 4 of them.
Between the 4 of them. And then you got people like John here and Roseanne and who else? Got 18, 19 years.
Irving.
Barbara. Michelle. Right.
Well, everybody,
so there's about 1,000 years in there.
Everybody with 15 years or more, please stand up.
Right. It's amazing. And I'll bet you 10 to 15 is a lot too. Go ahead.
Everyone with 10 years or more, please stand up.
Anybody else, you're a newcomer, shut up and listen.
Well, why don't you start a little bit about how this all came to fruition?
What's that?
The first meeting. Everybody in here basically was at our first meeting of the people that are in here. And,
well, I can only, you know, you get a little nostalgic. I see Joan shedding a few tears over there. And it is for me. And it's hard to put in words what you feel when you see a whole bunch of people that you, virtually came in, met, and grew up with, and you know, there isn't a person in here with the same time as us or more time than us that we haven't, you know, really had some type of intimate personal relationship over the years where we really know each other, know things about each other, and man, this is harder than I thought. If you all start crying, I'm going out that door because I'm not going there today. Anyway, you know, it's amazing. It just is amazing that so many people, and it may seem like a few people to most, you know, all things considered, today there's so many people in Narcotics Anonymous, and thank God for that. There were so little people when we came in. I think there couldn't have been more. I bet you I could have counted them on 4 hands, you know. And so to have 6 people in this room from that time, or 7 or 8 or 10 people, that's amazing, you know. That's almost half of who was here, you know. And so
you're there.
Go ahead.
You're there. You weren't going there, and you got there. No one.
You know, yeah, I was thinking about it.
Go ahead.
You know, I look at faces, and I think about conversations over the year. Now, I don't remember the exact conversations, but I could picture probably, you know, 100 times that me and Joan talked, or me and Rose, or Bob, or Tommy, you know. And it's a strange feeling, you know, to look back over that time. And I remember, you know, each one of us going to area service and going, you know, crazy for that day. And, you know, when I came in, there was a World Convention starting, the first committee for that. There was area service was South Dade and Broward, and so we all would meet, and there was what the hell else? There was something else going on at the time.
We were becoming, no, not going.
Well, not yet, not quite at that time. But anyway, you know, and we saw each other quite often. I mean, there was only a couple of meetings in Dade, 2 or 3, and there was 1 or 2 up in Broward, and there was,
Palm Beach?
Yeah, and Palm Beach had 1 or 2, and so it wasn't really big. It wasn't like, you know, you had a meeting to go to every night. And 3 of those meetings in different places were all on the same night. I was saying to Rose yesterday, we couldn't even go to Survival Group if we wanted to because we were all going to the Bridge Group at that time. And you know, and they were up here in Broward going to, what's that, the California group? Or what was that group, Friday night?
After the rush?
Well, one of them.
After the rush.
So, you know, if you had 15, 20 addicts, there was 5 up here, 5 there, and 5 down south. They weren't all in one meeting. You couldn't all go to the same meeting at the same time. And so today we're very fortunate to have 8,000 meetings on any given night, you know. And you can walk into any one of those meetings today and there's 30 or 40 people. And that's amazing. I don't know if we always say, and that's our own crap, I'm sure, that we probably couldn't have got clean today had we not come in when we did. And I guess there's some truth to that. I don't know. It was a lot more intimate. When I walked in, it was like, you know, they were like vultures. Here's new blood. You know. And that's what kept you here, because you really felt, let me speak about me, you know, I felt that people really genuinely cared and really genuinely wanted me to stay here and really were concerned with my welfare. And that first time you feel that love in these rooms is amazing, you know. That's the thing that grabs you. It's like a vacuum. And so that happened in my life. And it was so strong that I never left here, you know. Isn't that amazing? I didn't even think about, could I stay clean 20 years? That wasn't a thought, although it was something I thought would be cool, you know. Trying to stay clean for that first day was an amazing feat in my mind. It still is. I'm still in awe of that guy that picks up the white chip every day and stays clean for that 24-hour period. It's got to be the most difficult time in any addict's life, that first day without drugs. Because, you know, it was like food. Drugs were like food to me. I couldn't live and exist without them. And so, you know, to feel what I felt when I walked in these rooms. Now, Rose used to tell me I was the most negative person she ever met, you know. And I was, except for her. But, you know, even though in spite of myself and in spite of my best thinking, in spite of my brains, me, somehow this program, because people loved me when I couldn't love myself, you know, in spite of all of that negativity inside of me, this loving God that I've come to understand through you people touched my life, or I wouldn't be here tonight. I know that today. So with that, I'm going to let Leah continue on, and I'll pick up later.
I have a lump in my throat. When every time John talks about the love, it's the love that's got me choked. Wait.
She lost the words. I don't believe it.
Yeah. What do you think? This is easy? Get up here.
Chair over here.
That was one of our old-timers that said he doesn't have enough time. I walked into Survival Group. John walked into North Miami. I walked into South Miami. And there were 6 of us in Survival Group. And I went away to long-term treatment. I came back, and the group, there was 15. And the whole time I was away, the only thing I kept thinking about is just let me do this bit and let me come home. And I was so afraid that NA wouldn't be there when I got there. I'm there. The fellowship, however small, I remember our Saturday night meetings. It was a tri-county meeting in North Miami.
Saturday Night Live.
It's Saturday Night Live. And the meeting was huge. I'm talking 70 people. 80, maybe. But it was a tri-county meeting. So that's how small the fellowship was. It was Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Dade County. And the night I came home from treatment, I went to a meeting, and it was New Connections. on a Wednesday night. I came home on a Wednesday, and it was New Connections in North Dade because they told me in treatment if I don't make a meeting the day I get out, I'm going to get in trouble. So because I was so sincere about this thing, and I had found such hope in my first meeting, that I knew I was home, and I didn't want to blow that. I had blown everything else in my life, and this I didn't want to blow. And I guess that just comes from having enough. I had enough. I was done. I was so done that I was willing to grasp onto anything. It wasn't about denial that I was who I am. The denial came later. It was, I needed a life preserver, and Narcotics Anonymous provided that. And funny, Narcotics Anonymous still provides that. But the blanket of love that was wrapped around me, see, I'm the kind of person that I figured if y'all were so nice to me, you must have wanted something. Because that's who I was. And I was always in it for me. And I wouldn't do a goddamn thing for anybody unless something was in it for me. Where's the payoff for me? And I couldn't believe that it was just, there was nobody wanted anything from me. Not that I had anything left, but it was, nobody wanted anything. All they wanted me to do was recover from the nightmare that I had been living if I wanted to recover. And nobody was going to do it for me. And nobody was going to sit next to me in a meeting that had a couple more days clean than me and rub my arm and I was going to get it. That's not how we get it. If you don't want it, trust me, you won't get it. Nobody's going to throw it at you and you're going to catch it. It's not contagious, this recovery. It's earned. And I earned my seat here. And when the fellowship wrapped that blanket of love around me, because you need to understand what a piece of shit I really was. And the fact that anyone was willing to tell me to come back instead of what they used to tell me, and that's, get from around here, you're nothing but trouble. And don't hang out with my daughter, and I don't want you near my son. When someone said, keep coming back, I didn't know how to act. And the first time someone ever put their arms around me to hug me, because I had such a lovely attitude, I told them to take their hands off of me, don't touch me, stay the fuck away from me. And they would tell me, but we love you, Leah. Love me? You don't even know me. And if you get to know me, you will buy back your introduction. Because I was really nowhere. I had nothing going on. And what could you possibly want with me? And you freely gave it to me. And you freely loved me unconditionally. You didn't care what I said. You didn't care what I looked like.
I was thinking about
I'm having a mood swing.
I was thinking about since I'm up here and I got the microphone, I was thinking that, I was thinking about some people that were instrumental in my recovery, and like Marvin Stone, who's not with us today. And he really was so instrumental in early NA in Dade. So I just thought I'd throw his name out there. Roger, who was really instrumental in our region.
Buddha Bob.
And yeah, Bob Marks and Jesus. I don't know how many I'm forgetting. Who knows? But,
Was that Joey? And then there's Joey P.
Who? But Marvin was I always tell my story because it's my story. He had a little Volkswagen, and I was in a care unit at the time, and he asked me if I wanted to go to they didn't have H&I at that time. They had no NA meetings in the institutions, and so he asked, he heard me sharing up there in the hospital, and he said, there's he told me about Narcotics Anonymous, and he said, I'll come and get you on Wednesday night and take you. It was the New Connections group, which later became my home group. and he took me to this little clubhouse, and I was like, a little suspicious of him. You saw Marvin in his little Volkswagen. He was like a leftover beatnik, But yeah, he was. I felt like using real early in my recovery, probably in the first 90 days or so, or maybe it was a little after that. I don't remember, but I didn't have a sponsor, and I called him up. Or actually, I asked Bob to sponsor me and fired him in 2 days, so because he didn't give me the right answer. So Marvin, I called Marvin, told him I felt like using. He told me come on right over to his house, and we sat by the pool at his apartment, and he
And he saved his life, is what he can't get out.
He really did. So, it's like all of us. I'm sure we all have little tidbits and little stories that, about how our lives were saved along the way, I always used to laugh at cliches and slogans and stuff we say in this program. And I used to think it was so worthless because it was said so many times by so many people, and it just loses its effect in my mind. And one day I was sitting in the old warehouse, and I had all the slogans up on a wall, and I was I came to this realization that you needed to apply this stuff in your life rather than just read it off the wall, And it's amazing how real that stuff is it's ingrained in me, it's inherent in me, I suppose you could say today, and it's the people in this room. It's really amazing how much they taught me.
The one thing that was just coming to mind is how much fun we used to have, because we found the freedom from the nightmare, and we had so much fun. I remember we were at, I think it was New Connections, and I remember Bob M. We went into Roberts M. And we I don't know what we were doing, but it involved Barbara and Bob, and he was chasing her around with a birthday cake. And I mean, there are so many stories. We used the meetings after the meetings. We used to hang out at first. It was Lums, and then it was Ranch House. Then it was Wags.
Mr. Adams.
But we would hang out till all hours of the morning. And what were we talking about? We were talking recovery. But it's the only rap we had left anyway. But we were none of which anyone knew about, because we were all newly clean. I think the most anyone had was 3-4 years, and that was the icons. Rose and Tom and Robert, yep. and Joni and Barry, and it was like we would pick their brains like a Christmas goose, because I know I was hungry. Kenny and Carla. Kenny N brought, oh my, here we go. Kenny N brought me the message. Me. Because I was the only person in the room that mattered. And he brought it, I was in detox, and he brought a meeting with a white booklet. The meeting wasn't called Narcotics Anonymous, it was NA, but it was New Alternatives. Because the doctor where I was in detox was not real keen on Narcotics Anonymous, for whatever reason her hang-ups were. She became a believer, but prior to that she wasn't. And Kenny would come in with the white booklet. And he told my story. And he would read from the same white booklet, and he would tell his story every week. The same story. Nothing changed. And the first week I heard him, because of the self-centeredness of my disease, I thought that the nurses had told him, you got to deal with that one. And told them my particulars, and he was talking directly to me. The only difference, now you know I wasn't looking for similarities, I was still looking to be different. And he told an alcohol story, excuse me, of his problem with alcohol, of which I didn't relate, because in order to have a problem with alcohol, you have to drink it. So I didn't relate to that. But everything else, he told me who I was. He told me how I felt. I didn't have the labels for any of this stuff. I remember Barbara saying early on one time, and it really fit the profile, she said, I didn't know what the hell a resentment was. I just thought I was always pissed off. And I don't know what a resentment is. I was always pissed off. I came in with rage and self-pity. Those are the only two emotions I remember. And this guy, Kenny, and when I saw him after Robert and Rosalie went and got the World Convention over here in 1980, I hadn't seen Kenny since I came out of treatment. And when I saw Kenny at the Marco Polo Hotel for Wicknow 11, and he said to me, "You're still here." And I said, "I had a year." And he said, "Don't you know that's a miracle?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess it is." He said, "Well, it defies science. There's no explanation for why you're here from what you've told me." He says, "You woke up how many times? Why do you think you woke up?" And he was the one that plugged me in. He was the one that plugged me in. Where he is today, I don't know. He was a skinny, gray, skinny. His face was gray. Ashen. And I could have sworn he was still using. If he wasn't shooting dope, I figured for sure he's smoking reefer. I found out later that he had pancreatitis very badly, which is why he looked sickly. But I would have bet my last, if I'd had one, I'd have bet my last dollar that he was still getting high.
Carla's fingernails.
And Carla had fingernails that screwed around 14 times before they came to the end. And she was clean a long time. 2 years, something. The only thing I'm not going to go there. The only thing I ever wondered about is how did she go to the bathroom? Because she had these corkscrews that went...
Oh, man.
Well, I'm serious.
I'm sure you are.
And we used to sit in area service and decide what was going to happen to Narcotics Anonymous. We didn't have a book. We had the Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step and 12-tradition book. That's what we used. Boy, times have changed. In the last 19 years, the things that I know everybody that's been around has witnessed the same thing. We have a book. The fellowship blew out behind the book. Our message got out, and all the work that we tried to do, in spite of ourselves, the message got out. And there are people recovering in Narcotics Anonymous. Just Narcotics Anonymous. And that was always the dream, is to let go of the mothership, not be beholden to anybody, but be grateful that they showed us the way and allowed us to use their stuff. And I am eternally grateful to Alcoholics Anonymous for that reason, because NA was not strong enough. And I'd walk into an AA meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Matter of fact, Barbara and I would walk into an AA meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the first thing they would say to us is, "Oops, here they come, hide the spoons." And we'd tell them, we can't use them, they're plastic. And we would look in the meetings for the people with the tracks on their arms, because those were their homies. I didn't bottom out in a closet with red wine spilled on my dress. I bottomed out in a gutter. And I was allowed to crawl back. Rosalie, matter of fact, the first year I was clean, she presented me with a black chip. Do you remember that? She gave me a black chip because I felt so goddamn hopeless.
Who? Who?
Rosalie. Rosalie R. But she gave me a black chip because I had no hope. And Narcotics Anonymous gave me the hope. And it always used to be, addicts like us don't recover. There's no way out. And the gratitude that I have for this program and the people in it. You know, everybody, when something happens and they get their feelings hurt, first thing they want to do is blame the program. It's goddamn program. Fuck NA. You know? And certainly it's God's fault. And why not blame the Jews? They're responsible for everything. You know. The truth of the matter is the program is perfect. Program's perfect. Fellowship isn't. You know, everybody's trying to make it. And nobody's better and nobody's less. And that's the anonymity. Everybody's equal. And I was shown that equality. And I was told, become transparent, because we can't help you unless you become transparent. And that was when I found the love of the fellowship. Because I could have said anything, I could have done anything, I could have been anybody that I wanted to be. I could have made a zillion and 42 mistakes, which I did. I could have been abusive, which I was. I could have been loud, rude, crude, and obnoxious, which I was, and sometimes still am, quite often. And the truth of the matter
Still
is
pissed off.
you love me anyway. No, pissed off again. I'm not still pissed off. I'm pissed off again. But it's, you love me anyway. Unconditional love. You taught me how to love somebody else unconditionally. And that's what I wish that everyone could find that. Is I love you not because of. I love you in spite of. And it doesn't matter how you look or who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you got or what you don't got. And I have a friend of mine. She says to me, how do you do it? How do you do it? Look what you get yourself involved with. Some of the people that you get yourself involved with, you hug them. You don't know where they bathed. You don't know what they have. And you know what? I don't care. Because you hugged me when I was stinking, smelling, slutting, and you didn't care. You just wanted me to recover. I'll never forget that. And I can never pay that back. Because the price on my life is no price. It's too precious to even price. I was given my life back in here, and because of the people that were here before me, I cannot be grateful enough. What hurts me is the attitude today of so many of us. And maybe it's only because they haven't found that impact that a lot of us have found, and it's the attitude of hooray for me, and I don't have time for you right now. I have a life. I have responsibilities. Everything is more important than helping someone save their life. I'm guilty of the same thing. And it hurts me that even, because when anyone anywhere reaches out, I reached out and there was hands reaching back, and I have a responsibility to reach back when someone reaches out. And I fall way short of that. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of old-timers. And I know, too, that old-timers involved in service, I, for one, I'm done with it. I did the best I could do for as long as I could do it, and it's time for other people to get involved. What I really wish is that when they talk about the qualifications of having a working knowledge of the 12 steps and 12 traditions, that people just don't jump up and say, yep, I got that. Because if you have 5, 6 years or less, you ain't got that. You ain't got that. Maybe 10 years or less. You ain't got that. I just got that. And I'll be 20 by the grace of God in June. I just got that. The need to be in service, I no longer have that. The need to help another addict, I have that. And the politics are not for me anymore. Whatever need that filled is long gone. And that's really all I have to say. I just want to thank everybody that has ever or will ever be a part of my recovery. Because the bond that I have with the people that I got clean with, that'll never be broken. I don't care if I haven't seen you in 10 years or 15 years. That bond is there. The bond that I build with the people today, it's the same, it's going to be the same strength that the bond I have with everyone else that has already been here. And I'll tell you one thing, there's no friend like an old friend. Because the old friends know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they don't care. They love you anyway. And that, to me, takes character and integrity and freedom to love. And I looked for that my whole life. Just to love and be loved. And, matter of fact, I'm still looking for it. But I found what will fill my needs to stay clean a day at a time and to be reasonably happy most of the time in Narcotics Anonymous. And I found also that Narcotics Anonymous isn't going away. Because we just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm done. We got to open it up. It's so wine.
Well, just say one last thing. We'll open it up. We had a meeting in an American Legion in Dade County, Harvey Seeds, and there was maybe 25 people in a circle, and we used to pray, that other addicts would come in. Talking about the power of prayer. Then when they came, we all wished they went away, but I remember saying to somebody that night that do you think it would ever get big enough that we need a bigger room. And then last year we, was it last year?
I don't know where you're going.
San Jose?
Oh, God, yeah.
Last year in San Jose, we were in that hockey arena, a professional hockey arena that was filled to capacity for the main meeting.
Standing
and it was, and they put the lights on almost, so I was so, I don't know what the word is, but, man. Overwhelmed. And it's like, I'm thinking about in San Diego in 2003, the anniversary of narcotics, the 50th anniversary. There'd probably be a Jack Murphy Stadium, But it's just phenomenal. It's unbelievable. And so there's a few people in this room we're gonna pick before you raise your hands, because maybe they could tell the truth or add something to what we just said. But oh yeah, if you want to share, you have to come up front though and sit and share into the microphone. That's the way they do it with the tapes, I guess. But Bob, why don't you come up first? Robert. You're all coming up, so it don't make a difference. Joan.
Oh my gosh. Hi, my name is Joan, a recovering addict. Very grateful to be here. I tell you, I was sitting in the chair and I was crying because I was so overwhelmed to see people that I haven't seen in a long time and who really helped save my life. And Rosalie, I mean you in particular. When I came into NA, there was 3 people, 2 people on 79th Street. Marvin also was responsible for me coming in. I called and I said, I have a problem. He says, I have a place for you. And he said, someone will pick you up and take you to NA. And I walked in. I couldn't see. I couldn't hear. I was like blinded, because I was just coming off of the drugs. And Rosalie put out her hand and put out her heart and loved me back to health. I just never knew that I was acceptable. I didn't know that I was okay. I didn't know I could be okay. And Rosalie and Barry and a few other people, Betty, there was a Betty there, I think, at that time. They just told me to keep on coming back, that things would get better. And they did, little by little. And I'm happy to say, by the grace of God, the 12 steps of the program, the love of the fellowship, yesterday I picked up my 21-year chip. Yay! And I want to let you know, I can remember the first day, I just never thought I could stay, straight for one day, let alone 1 hour. And that you people and your love and your support and these wonderful steps that absolutely teach us how to live life, which I never knew. Still learning a lot. That's what gave me the time. And I thank you very much. Thank you.
Joni and I co-chaired Wicknow 11 in 1981. Rosalie hooked us both up with that one. Oh, God. Hello.
What'd you say?
Talk.
I'm an addict named Robert. Hey, family, how you doing? Tommy's my sponsor. I never really fired him a couple of years ago. And he got a hold of a guy I sponsor, and that's how I learned about this weekend, because I live up in West Palm and I'm thoroughly out of touch. But Rosalie was at my first meeting, and Joey Matthews was there, Sheldon was there, and it was like I went to my first NA meeting to meet somebody so that I could get a script for Dilaudid. It's the truth. I couldn't identify with anybody in Alcoholics Anonymous. I had stopped shooting dope in 1970, and so when I came in to AA in '79, and couldn't identify, I figured the best thing for me to do was start shooting some good dope again, So I got to that meeting, and I've had this feeling twice in my life. The first time I ever mainlined heroin, it felt like I was home. my first NA meeting, I felt like I was home. You know, and it was like, it was a lifesaver. You know, the people that were involved in the convention we had, Marco Polo. You know, so many of them are still clean. So many of the people that were involved in that convention are still clean. And that was 81, right? You know, it's phenomenal. You know, that goes to show you, you know, the kind of love that was involved in this fellowship, you know, those years ago. Shut up while I'm talking, man. Did I do that to you? Did I?
Probably.
Oh, I did.
Probably, yes, you did. Since I can remember.
Yeah. I wish Paulie was here. You know, he'll probably be. I hope he shows up tonight, you know. I mean, he was a godsend, you know. We did a newspaper article. This woman, his ex-wife, Karen, and I, who wasn't his ex-wife at the time, right? We did a newspaper article in the Miami edition of the Sun-Sentinel, and he was the only one that cut it out and came into the program behind that newspaper article. You know, one person. You know, and it was like, you know, I don't know, those of you that don't know Paul, you know, you may never have a chance to get to know, you know, the real human being, you know, that man is. And, you know, it's like, you know, he's like one of the people, you know, that has come into this fellowship, you know, and just, you know, been beneficial. And you know, and like you all in this room, you know, that I know, you know, that I've seen, you know, come around and be a part of Narcotics Anonymous, you know, is what it's all about. You know, to me, it's like passing it on. You know, I had an opportunity after the 81 World Convention to move to Tampa. And when I got to Tampa, there was no NA there. So I went to an AA meeting, a young people's AA meeting. I stood up at the meeting and I said, my name is Robert. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. I need some of you dope fiends to help me start Narcotics Anonymous in Tampa. And the three people that came to the meeting, you know, one of them is an assistant district attorney in Dade County today. You know, another one is a vice president of a textile corporation in Atlanta. And the other one is he heads up a water polo team for paraplegics that go around the world with the Olympics, the Special Olympics. You know, and then there's me. You know, and you know, me and my dog. You know, I just like to. I'm just gonna end. I just like to say I've become friends with Chippewa Nation, Ojibwe Indians, and they hired me to go up to Pensacola and run a halfway house up there. You know, and you know, to me, it's like that's what it's about. You know, it's like being a part of. You know, I'll be able to see people from different Indian nations, you know, come into that house because it's going to take Sioux and Crow and Utes and Iroquois and, you know, all different Indian tribes, you know, and I'm really looking forward to it. To me, it's a blessing, you know, it's a real blessing, you know, and I love you guys.
Barbara.
This place is full tonight.
For the first time in my life, I'm totally at a loss for words.
Who are you?
Oh, nobody knows? My name is Barbara. I'm an addict. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 people in this room today who was at my first meeting. And I was stoned. And nobody knew that except John the Judas. And every chance he got, he let me know, Crawford, you smoking reefer again? And I'd say, no, I have allergies in my eyes. And Leah was there, and Rosie was there, and Joni was there. And I guess the same thing that happened to you happened to me, because I was fresh blood, and I was so sick. I couldn't put sentences together. I couldn't even find a meeting room. I'd show up in a meeting room 5 minutes before it ended, and people would stand up and applaud for me, because I really wanted to come and be a part of this Narcotics Anonymous thing. I can't begin to tell you, since 1981, what's happened in my life as a result of applying this program. And I'm so damn grateful that I came here today to see all the people, a lot of the people that were there for me. Now, I want to say one thing about John LaJudas. Oh, I just blew your anonymity, sorry.
Been gone.
I relapsed after almost being clean for 2 years in this program. And at the time that I relapsed, I came into the program in 1981. At the time that I relapsed, nobody of our crowd really relapsed. And I scared a lot of people. And John gave me a card. And to this day, I will never forget what that card did for me. He gave me the love that I couldn't feel for myself. And all my friends sat right next to me in a row the meeting that I picked up that chip again to become a part of this fellowship. And I can only say one thing to the people who are sitting here and scratching their head and saying, what are you guys talking about? I can just promise you one thing, that once you come to this fellowship and apply it in your life, your perspective about everything changes. And it's phenomenal. It's unbelievable the things that you're capable of doing and being if you apply these principles in your life. I want for the newcomer, I wish for the newcomer to have what we all have as a result of working this program. And I wish all you people that are new good luck. Thank you.
Real quick, I'm an addict. My name's Tom. And about a year and a half ago, I was walking across the 12-step parking lot, and this girl, she's introducing me to her boyfriend or somebody, and she goes, this is Hollywood Tom, and he's got 20 years clean. And he looks at me and he goes, 20 years clean? You must know John LaJudas. And I said, yeah. As a matter of fact, I do. So. But and I was thinking of Robert when Robert was sharing, and like Leah was saying how we had so much fun. This used to be all one. Well, at one time it wasn't even a region, but then when there was a region in Frickna 2, we had in Fort Lauderdale, and Robert was the chair, and I was the vice chair. And I think there was 6 people on the entire committee, subcommittees, members of subcommittees. So it wasn't really that big of a deal, but we were still chair and vice chair. And we were going to one of the committee meetings. I don't know if Robert remembered. We were riding in his car, and there was a train, and we're running parallel with the train. And I'm saying, I know we can beat it. Let's do it. And he goes, okay, I think you were driving. To this day, I don't know if you were driving or I was driving, but we were edging each other on. And we raced this train through downtown Fort Lauderdale and just run across in front of it. And when we said, hey, if we would have got smacked, that would have really set the whole thing. But that's how crazy we were, And we stayed clean through that. And we didn't have NA.com. We didn't, we got all that cool stuff now. Couldn't do all that, We could call our sponsor for 10 cents. And, but we didn't even have a recovery text, but we had each other. And, that first meeting I went to, Rose was there, these guys, I was at a, AA meeting in Hollywood. I had 30 days clean. These 2 NA members came down from, Pennsylvania, and they said, we're taking you to a meeting. A Narcotics Anonymous meeting on Friday night. I said, okay, And I'm riding down in the car, and I go, what the hell are these guys taking me to a narcotic? I haven't been on methadone in years. I'm going like, what the hell are they taking me to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting? I don't even have a desire to shoot up or anything. But I went along, because they told me that. And then I walked in the meeting, the bridge group. I walked in there. I seen Rose, and I said, wow. female addicts staying clean. This is getting better all the time, you know. And then she said, keep coming back. I said, I will. I will be back here. She said, if you come to this meeting, she says, if you get down here from Hollywood, Tom, we'll make sure you get a ride home. And they always did. If I said I wanted a ride home, they did, you know. Or sometimes I'd hitchhike back up. But I made it down there, you know, and I didn't stick around and have conversations or anything like that because I didn't know how to do that yet. But the deep feeling I had was like, I don't know if you know, but every Christmas I'd call and say, Merry Christmas. And that was the best I could do. But I felt like I had family in Narcotics Anonymous. And I feel that way today, you know, like the days that even though mentally I might not be connected, that deep feeling. And I'm not telling anybody to shut up this weekend. Leah. We have been loved just the way we are, and I've insulted so many people over the years and everything and been such an idiot, but I'm grateful, so grateful to be a part of NA, and thanks.
Oh, Miss. Miss Rosalie.
No, yeah.
We've avoided you because you're speaking tonight.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle, and I'm an addict. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've got one. No, I'm not going to do that. Stop it.
Can't even say a word, she already gone.
Little lumpy in the throaty.
When I got to the Fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous, I was 19. God, I feel so grateful. Oh, and I hate both of you. I don't want to do this.
Good.
You know, and I was like, when I was sitting back there, I'm looking at everyone who I called many times old farts, and what do I have in common with you? And you guys are different. You don't seem to understand. It's different today. I'm young, you're old, you're this. You had gone through a lot of things that were yets for me. And, you know, I was of that other generation. And sometimes it wasn't easy, you know, but I kept coming back because of all of you kept saying, come back. And all of you loved me. You know, and I am so grateful for, like, that row, you know, and these people. You know, when you mentioned Marvin was instrumental. I met him in the court systems. You know, and Barbara, who I saw earlier, and you know, that connection. You know, I had your phone number, you know, in my hand. That I balled up and threw out because what is this? What am I going to go there for? I'm fine. It's sunny out. I'm okay. I don't look too bad. I don't feel too bad at the moment, and I've got a few bucks in my pocket. And then you were there when I got here. You know, and you talked about Buddha Bob, and I thought, wow. You know, and Barbara Coletti, you know. I remember going into meetings and she would just, yeah, you know, there's your seat, sit down, you know. And, you know, both John and Leah were talking about that bond. You know what? It doesn't fucking matter. It's there. You know, and both of you have been extremely instrumental in my recovery. And I'm forever grateful. And, you know, thinking about, like, all the things in the service meetings and the conventions and the arguments or the this or the that and that insanity that and that stuff that you spoke about. It's like, it's not that they're secrets, it's stuff that we went through that nobody else kind of, it's a real thing, a real bond, a real closeness that is just there and no one can ever take it away. And, you know, when I have difficult times in recovery, because sometimes there are difficult times in recovery, those are the moments I cherish and I hold on to, and I think, you know, if a handful of us could do it then together, I can still do it today, you know, and I can still pick up that phone, and that foundation that we built then was so strong, so strong. And, now that I'm here, I could talk forever, but it's like there's just so much, and I'm so grateful, and sometimes I feel really grateful that you guys kind of put up with me, and in spite of loved me, and I remember John, certain things I'd get myself into, and he'd just stand back and look at me and laugh and just say, keep coming back, and I did, and I am. And, when I saw Joey walk into the room, because we are of that same generation, and it's awesome to see you here. Thanks.
Yeah, we'll just open the floor now. Anybody who wants to come up and share something or whatever, come on.
Come on down.
Thank you. I'm grateful for covering that. My name is Rodney.
Hi, Rodney.
And I'm like real. What's the word y'all had before? Ecstatic.
Overwhelmed?
Overwhelmed. To know that, I've been here 9 years, and I heard my great grandsponsor say one time, he was in the rooms and he felt, at one time he was saying, I think he felt kind of like, where did everybody go? And I had that same feeling. I went to a meeting, I was saying, where did everybody go? And I believe that's when I started venturing out to other meetings, because I wanted to find out where was everybody. Because I was stuck in a dilemma where people had 1-2 years clean, but actually wasn't holding on to it. And I know I need to learn something. I need to have some more tools on how to stay clean, because I believe when it got to where I'm at, it's critical. Because I just seen a person that go out with 9 years. And my home group is the mainliners, and it scared me. And when I turned 9 years, and it really scared me. I was afraid that if I hit 9 years, maybe I wasn't going to stay around. But you guys have shown me that it's possible. That's exactly what you showed me. You showed me that I can stay here and recover. And hopefully through a power greater than myself, because I believe that my God works in you guys to show me what I need to see. More will be revealed, as it says. And, it's like I need to know I'm not alone. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because I guess where I'm at now, ain't too many people. When I came in, there's no one with 9 years in my group. And it gets pretty lonely. It gets pretty lonely. And I don't know if I'm always doing the right thing or the wrong thing or the bad thing or the good thing. And I guess why I have a sponsor, a NA sponsor. We have the NA sponsor. So much love. And that's what I related to the love. And it seems like I don't have to be there with y'all. When y'all first came in, I still feel y'all love. I still feel it. I feel like I have a part of it now. And I'm grateful to you guys. Because I truly believe, like, if someone never wouldn't have stood up, as he said, and started this trend that we have, and I'm truly grateful to the other fellowship for showing how this thing worked and how we could reach out on our own and start our own little trend and get this thing that we call recovery. Because I'm an addict. I'm not an alcoholic. Even though alcohol is a drug. But I'm truly an addict. And I used for over 20-some years of my life. And I ain't even halfway there yet. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate this meeting. I need to know who is who so I can stick and stay. For my own selfish reason or whatever it may be, but I need to know. I've spoken with y'all a couple of times. I need to know. Because I get so scared. And I do feel alone sometimes. But at least I know that recovery do grow. you know, I can't stay and stick and stay. You know, thanks for letting me share.
Debbie, then Stu. I'm Debbie. I'm an addict. I picked up my first white chip in 1982 and my last white chip in 1990. And I go way back with in the beginning. And unfortunately, I had to go out and do some more research. But you know, it's funny. We were talking this morning, and they laugh at me because I have a real difficult time crying. And there's only a few things that make me choke up. And I was sitting here today, and I started, but when somebody said Joey was sitting in the back, I like lost it. I've probably never had a chance to say this to you, but, and you know this, I'm sure, we go way back, but the first NA meeting I ever was in treatment, you chaired that meeting. And you had hair down to here, and all your chains, and your full motorcycle garb, and I don't remember who else was at that meeting, but I remember you. And it was, I was scared, I was frightened, I didn't know anything about this program, I knew nothing. All I knew is that I was really sick, and I was detoxing, and I felt like crap. And they told me I had to go into this cafeteria room, in the dining room or whatever, and go to this meeting. And I sat down, and I looked over, and I saw you, and there was just something about you. I felt comfortable. I felt like, you know, I felt like somebody really understood. And that's the power of this program, you know, carrying the message. And everybody that you've talked about up here has had such an impact on my life. And probably most of them have been my sponsor at one time or another. But the bottom line to me today is that whenever I'm in this room or in these rooms and with these people, there's something different about the feeling that I have inside. I mean, yes, the steps of this program and my friends in this program and the meetings and everything help me to stay in recovery. But the bottom line is you help me to go out into the other world and cope today. And there's just no feeling like the feeling when I'm in this room. And it brought me back. It really brought me back. Anyway, thanks. I wanted to come up here and personally thank you all for being there for me and welcoming me back the 52,000 white chips I picked up. I love you, Joey.
My name's Stuart, I'm an addict.
No, you gotta stay here.
I'm an addict, working on loud. I'm Stuart, I'm an addict, and I'm from London. And and it's nice for me to be at this meeting, you know, because, you know, you were talking about starting meetings like when you first came around and people who you were clean, you know, when you got clean. And, you know, when I got clean in London, the meetings there were 6 meetings in London. It was just under 2 years old. And we were starting up meetings everywhere. And there was a guy just like you, and his name was Johnny T. And his nickname was Johnny Crowbar. And he was Crowbar Johnny. And he died. He was 4 years clean or 3 years clean when I came round, and he was, I think, about 16 years clean, 17 years when he died of an illness, and he died clean. And he used to talk about American NA, and he said, I'm writing letters to them. He was writing letters non-stop to Los Angeles, to the NA office. Every time they would send a book to us, it was like they were sending it to him. And he would look through the book and he'd say, no, we can't have this. That's American literature. And it was like everything was a fight. And it reminds me of all that, and the people that I got clean with. About 60% of the people that I got clean with are still clean. You know, and that is, we had a good crowd of people, and we would go and we were opening meetings left, right and centre. If there wasn't a meeting in the East End of London, we'd go and open a meeting. And then we would say, well, hang on, Monday we've got this meeting, and we had to get a van, a truck, so that we would take everyone and we would divide the meeting up, so there'd be a meeting, there'd be people there. We'd say we could have 9 people in this meeting, and we were governors. It was like we were the bosses. And we'd say, you go to that meeting, we go to that meeting, and now in the East End of London there's about 12, 13 meetings. There's 50 or 60 NA, people that, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, people that don't have to use drugs a day at a time. And the same as like you shared, it grew here. It grew like unbelievable at home, and it was like so much fun. And it was, you know, and it's funny because NA taught me how to think with my heart, you know, and not with my fucking head. Because even today, if I think with my head, I shut everyone off, you know. You know, and I've been here now for 4 or 5 months from the UK. I've been over here, and people have put their arm out, their hand out to me, and I've gone to meetings and I felt accepted and I felt a part of, you know. And I've had to do the footwork, you know. I've had to share at meetings and I've had to do the footwork, but people have been there. And it's funny, the more you put in, the more you can take out, you know. And I'm a true believer of that, you know. And it's funny because I know I've done a share once, and I when I first came around, I got involved in service. And that was once. You know, I never went back. You know, that meeting lasted, and I've shared it, it lasted in my head for about 2 years. I took everyone's infantry, no one identified with me, no one wanted to do what I wanted to do. You know, and I found out what I was good at, and that is carrying the message to the addict that still suffers, and I do that today. You know, if someone's using, I put my arm out, because I put my hand out, because I know how it feels. You know, and I know that I've only got today because I give it away. You know, I can't keep it. And, you know, it's really nice to be fortunate enough to be at this, you know, I'm going home shortly, so it's nice to be here. And, you know, it's nice for me to thank people for being here because, you know, you've helped me stay clean, and I've been going through things. And by coming to meetings, you know, I've been able to listen to my heart again and not my head. And that means a lot to me because I'm an addict that's sensitive, and I'm an addict that does too much with this, you know. And I can identify, and I see that today. And that's okay, you know, because that is where I'm at today, and that's okay. For me, that's as simple as it can be. Thanks very much.
I'm an addict from Broward County. My name is Bill. A lot of new faces I see here because I don't get down in a lot of date faces, I would guess. I ran into John the other night somewhere other than an NA meeting, and that's great when you can do other things the longer you're around and you start doing different things. And I ran into John, and he said he was doing a workshop here, and I says I have to get up here because I couldn't make it here last night and I can't make it tonight, so I'm very grateful that I was able to get here. And John and Rosalie, I go back to 1981. They were working in a place down here in Miami, and there was something about John that I wanted, and today I see what it was and what it is, you know. And these two people were the pillars, you know, of Narcotics Anonymous way back when. And I didn't get this thing, or I didn't start to get this thing until 1985. And when I got back, I heard that these people were still here. That like they were gone out of my mind for about 3 or 4 years. But they talked about a guy named John L. And I said, could that be that guy that worked down in, you know, Miami? And sure enough. And then I heard Rosalie. I think I used to call her Ro-Ro, and she used to say to me, "Don't call me that," you know. But I went to the Bridge Group. My brother used to make coffee in the Bridge Group back in 1980 or 81 or whenever it was. And I used to think there was methadone in the coffee pot, especially if my brother was making the coffee. And he brought me to some of my first meetings, my brother. My brother's not here to share this gift we have today, but he was here up to a certain point in time, and he gave it as much as he could, and then he was taken from us. But it's all about gratitude. You know, as long as I stay grateful and I keep showing up here and keep sharing what we have today, our message, that's what you two people still share. There are other people, too, that I met afterwards that are, you know, part of our community that are here. Their feet are in cement here, and they're the pillars of it. And that's what we have to be, because as we leave new people, we have to pass it on. We have to pass on what we have here today. And I'm a firm believer of that. I'm grateful for how the message got here, however it got. God gave it to AA, AA gave it to us, but we have it today, and we can stand on our own today. This is our message, that no addict has to die using. We're all going to die, but let's die recovering, you know. And, you know, every meeting I go to, I look for the old-timer. I look for the person that got here. And sometimes it's a little scary, because I'll go to a meeting now and then where I'm the only person. So I got to show it, and I got to walk it, and I got to be that positive example for that newcomer walking in the door. And that's so important today, you know, and thank God that you people were here for me. Thank you all. Thanks.
So what do you want to do? You got to pray.
Brad, you want to come up, Brad? Brad, and then we'll close. Today.
Take it up.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm an addict. My name is Brad.
Hi, Brad.
And I'm grateful to be here today. And give me a hug, God damn it.
Tape's gonna run out.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, you know, I walked in my first Narcotics Anonymous meeting in 1980, and the fellow I met there was, he's not here, but people spoke about him. Robert mentioned his name. It was Paul, and I met that man 3 months later on an airplane, and funny to say, I was on that plane in the bathroom shooting the water, and he was out there trying to tell me about this thing called recovery. And I met him through somebody else, another friend of mine who grew up with him. And later on, I went to a meeting in Narcotics Anonymous, and I never got this program till May of 1985. And you know, I was sitting back there thinking of the people that's passed through my life, and you know, the people that have been in my life, and the people that have been a big inspiration in my life. And you know, Joey was my sponsor one time, and before Joey, there was Lloyd, and he's not here today, you know. And before Lloyd, there was another guy in a wheelchair named Harry. He's not here today, you know. And all these things were just going by, and you know, I thought of, you know, different situations, how sometimes I'd be in the rooms, and you know, I wanted to be a part of this, and I wanted to be a part of that, and you know, I didn't know how to fit in sometimes, you know. And you know, I just kept coming back. And you know, when I stopped using, I really believe I didn't want to use anymore, and it was easy for me to stop using, but I didn't know how to live life on life's terms. It was the hardest thing in the world for me to do. It's hard for me to sit up here right now. You know, there's a lot of things going on inside of me right now. I didn't know how to hold a job. I couldn't work more than a week or two. I'd tell them to go fuck themselves, and I'd leave. I couldn't work, and I'd go to cry to certain people. And, you know, I couldn't hold a job. I couldn't do nothing, you know. I knew how to stop using, and I knew how to stay off the drugs, but I just couldn't do anything else. I didn't know how to, like, be social, you know. And little by little, some beautiful people in this room. And you know what? I don't have to mention names, but they know who they are, you know. You know, I sit in meetings today, and the reason I don't mention names is because of, I remember myself sitting in those meetings as a newcomer, and I felt alienated when people would name drop and sit at the podium. And that's just for me, you know. And so I say those people that they know who they are. You people know who you are. Every one of you. And, I love this program. I went to my first H&I meeting when I was 3 months clean, and I'm still doing H&I meeting today. And I'm involved in my area. I'm involved in the program in Narcotics Anonymous. And I learned how to go to work today, you know, and I learned how to not say, go fuck yourself, you know. And I learned how to deal with life on life's terms. For me, putting down the drug was pretty much the easy part, you know. I don't know why, but it took so many years, but once it was down, it was the easy part. It was living life on life's terms, man. I didn't know what to do with myself, you know. And, you know, I'm pretty happy today, you know. I used to come in these rooms and want to be a piece of every one of you. And today I only want me. I only want what I have inside here, you know. And I got it all. You know, I might not have every last thing I want, but I know what what I have is I need today, you know. Got a nice little house, a couple of nice little puppies running around, you know, nice lady. You know, I have great friends in my life. And if you knew, and I know there's somebody new in here that is going through what I went through, that it'll get better, it'll pass, and you never have to use again. You know, just don't pick up the first one, and there's a chance it'll get better. If you use, you lose. Thanks.
So somebody's going to read just for today.
My name is Kareni Namanari.
Hi, Kennedy.
Tell yourself just for today, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Since today I will have faith in someone in AA who believes in me and wants to help